Greetings across the earth. Again, we step forward cataloging information to bring honorable clarification pertaining to this, it has a new digital era. Yeah, man. And we choose to express ourselves, publicly, harmoniously, and with humility. Naturally, we just express our truth only because we don't have no other agency that is present. We choose to represent the West Indians' interests, its non-existence. Hence, again, we have to set the precedent, literally. We have to do it. Yeah, man. And I should really work with this thing later, according to how the energy is, but, you have to push it forward. Now I'm on say an Ahuuakhan academic thesis titled The Unconstitutional Nature of U.S. Immigration Policies, the Jurisdictional Exclusion of West Indians. Author Linton-Oneil, semicolon, or comma, Dallas, aka Ahuuah. The moment you use a punctuation mark to separate your given name from your house name, it suffices. In the corporate world, them usually can function with the full colon because them in a fictional capacity, but they'll always accept a comma or even a semicolon, but a comma is usually what them accept as the separation. So this is for honorable clarification. Because remember, the first, middle, and last name represent a legal entity, represent just a business trust, put it that way. And again, all rights reserved. Now, introduction. The United States immigration framework as codified through statutory enactment and administrative enforcement operates within a jurisdictional fiction that presumes universal authority over all persons entering or residing within its claimed borders. Now, this thesis contends that such presumption is unconstitutional when it applied to Indigenous and West Indian peoples. And here, when I say Indigenous, may I say it applied to the American Indians also, only through them in a unique position, but we not exclude them. We just now go put them at the forefront because them not qualified. You understand? So again, this thesis contends that such presumption is unconstitutional when applied to Indigenous and West Indian peoples, whose ancestral and territorial lineage predate the formation of the United States Empire. West Indians, as Indigenous Americans of the Caribbean archipelago, stands outside the jurisdictional reach of the United States statutory immigration law by virtue of natural sovereignty, treaty lineage, and continental, birthright, judgment. 2. Constitutional foundations and jurisdictional limits. Natural law precedents. The Constitution of the United States derives its legitimacy from consent and compact among constituent states, not from conquest over pre-existing nations. Clarity. Treaty Supremacy Clause, Article 6, very same US Constitution. Treaties with indigenous nations are recognized as supreme law. Immigration statutes cannot override these lawful compacts. Jurisdictional overreach. Immigration enforcement against Indigenous West Indians constitutes an unlawful extension of federal power beyond its constitutional boundaries, violating both natural law and treaty recognition. Absence of consent. No lawful compact exists between the United States federal government and the indigenous nations of the Caribbean. Thus, jurisdiction cannot be presumed. This is why we say absent consent. Usually, our people, because of the lack of information, most of them unlearned, them consent to being assimilated. The consent to being assimilated, put it that way. Because I'm a Jamaican citizen. Once I'm going on the mainland, I'm going in one of those corporate areas, the United States. You know what I mean? Which is a commercial area. And as such, then agree and consent to whatever rules and regulations we apply to the restricted people of that area. Clarity. So we not consent always. And remember, we are non-adverse, we are non-belligerent, we are non-combative. We are neutral. Know what I mean? So we're not going to consent to nothing at all. Chapter 3. The West Indian as Indigenous American. People have a problem, a grasp this concept. Again, the West Indian as Indigenous American. Geographic truth. The West Indies are part of the American continent. Therefore, West Indians are Americans by land and lineage. Ancestral continuity. The Arawak, now Ahuuah, Caribs and Taino nations, since I'm going to exclude these people or these ones, because I already expressed the fact that the Ahuuahs are the First Nation, and then a group of people called the Caribs invade our location, and then you have the Spanish invasion, where the Spanish call the people what them come say, call them Tainos. So what is first in time is usually truest. This is why we say Arawak. However, when we ascend to this much more advanced perspective and level, this is when we use the term Ahuuah, where absolutely no colonial empire can claim authority, control, or jurisdiction over the Ahuuah Indian nation as a society. Clarity. Again, clarity. Honorable clarification. Now, ancestral continuity, again, the Ahuuah Carib and Taino nation from the ancestral foundation of the Caribbean, predating colonial demarcation, legal implications. To classify West Indians as foreign is to deny continental birthright and violate the constitutional principles of equal protection, equal protection under natural origin. And when we say natural origin, we say this is where our foundation from time immemorial. Now, these colonizers and colonists, irrespective of them imagery, if them even have the shade of me, dark shade, and look like me or not, they know their point of origin, and their true point of origin is not this Western hemispheric region of the earth. And all of these information is already documented out there. So we now just make up story. No, man. We are reiterate what is true within the earth. Yeah, man. Again, ceremonial assertion. The West Indian identity is not migratory. Again, the West Indian identity is not migratory. It is sovereign. Yeah, man. Indigenous. Yeah, man. And continental. Now, which one are you unlearned scholars choose to refute this thesis by presenting your anti-thesis? Try me now. Try this Nestorian king now. Come on, step out here. Present your information in an academic format. Step up. Yeah, man. Or stand down. Unconstitutionality of immigration status. This is chapter 4. We have a heading where we say legal principles, constitutional violations, and sovereign remedy. First, we say natural law. Constitutional violation is the denial of ancestral jurisdiction. Sovereign remedy is the affirmation of indigenous sovereignty. Equal protection, we look at the legal principle for equal protection, what I'm calling the 14th Amendment. The constitutional violation is the discriminatory classification of continental peoples. Sovereign remedy, recognition of West Indian as American, specifically. Treaty supremacy, constitutional violation, ignoring pre-existing indigenous compacts like the Great Law of Peace. Sovereign remedy, restoration of lawful treaty standing. Due process, constitutional violation, arbitrary enforcement without lawful consent. This is when them just do what them want. Take away your vehicle and tell us that you're supposed to subject yourself to the colonial slavery and allow some unlearned, unscrupulous, criminal by them very own nature, politicians to dictate terms and conditions to the sovereigns. We will not accept that. We rather eradicate that criminal concept, criminal connotation, and that criminal organization. Brawling, which one are unlearned? University scholars, so-called, choose to refute or rebut our presentation. Present your anti-thesis if you can. But no, sir, a judgment when you're wrong, total annihilation by decapitation. Judgment, no plain. SYM out there. Again, due process, arbitrary enforcement without lawful consent, remedy, ceremonial and juridical reclamation of inherent fundamental rights and freedoms. Chapter 5, Juridical and Ceremonial Implications. Juridical. Immigration policy, when applied to Indigenous West Indians, constitute unconstitutional occupation and misclassification. Ceremonial. The act of declaring jurisdictional independence restores lawful standing and ancestral dignity for the Ahuuakh Indian nation and the West Indians in general. Communal. Remember, we are a community. Fire burn Babylon with them division. We are a community. It's just that somehow we don't like each other and we go on with we go on with ourselves, against each other. But we are a community, really. Sovereignty is reaffirmed through proclamation, like our declarations, artifacts, and archive, binding the people to their lawful identity beyond the colonial invading empire. Chapter 6, or conclusion. The United States immigration system, as presently constituted, is unconstitutional in its application to Indigenous West Indians, specifically Ahuuakh Indian nation. It violates natural law, treaty supremacy, and continental truth. The West Indians stand not as an immigrant, but as a sovereign American. Joel Jaguar, you hear it? The West Indian stands not as an immigrant, but as a sovereign American outside and beyond the jurisdiction of the United States colonial empire. Clarity. Thesis statement. The United States immigration framework is unconstitutional when applied to Indigenous West Indians, specifically the Ahuuakh Indian nation as a society whose continental birthright and ancestral sovereignty place them beyond the imperial colonial colonizing jurisdiction. Give thanks and praise. Give thanks and praise that the words of our mouth and the meditation of our hearts be accepted unto thee, Most High, our strength, power, Savior, Redeemer. Yeah, man. We do give thanks and praise again to the mystic laws of the universe and its protective functions and forces in nature that guide our thoughts and our path in all ways that are lawful, correct, now, precise, and accurate, and we truly remain positive. Yeah, man, for that we say complete gratitude. We do give thanks and praise always, always, always. Complete gratitude, free people. May the Most High guide and protect the item in all the item ways. And in all the item endeavors and bliss the item perpetually, yeah man, and continually. Again, information share, catalog information bringing accuracy and clarity, yeah, to this new era. Yeah man, removing the colonial restrictions and limitations from us, creating the separation of what the Indians in this Western Hemispheric region is. Yeah, man. We are West Indian, yeah, wild Indian, outside a congressional jurisdiction. Yeah, none American Indian. American Indian are those over there. We claim that. Yeah, man. We make our own stand. We make our own claim. Yeah, man. And we create our own authority with our own jurisdiction. Yeah, simple. Simple. Again, complete gratitude out there. Heartbreaking. Yeah, man. Break on the heart out there with this clarity. Yeah, man. Totally, totally, totally obliterate on a United Nation colonization society. Totally and completely with absolute clarity. Yeah, again, which unlearned scholar out there choose to refute or rebut our information that we have presented. Present your antithesis, if you may. Yeah, man. And make sure you bring clarity with accuracy, knowing the consequence. Yeah, man. Decapitation, eradication. Because we have to, bring forth this perfection. Remember, I'm Jamaica's number one comedian, so don't get carried away with our comedic stints. Yeah, man. Hold them out there, free people. We are do the things them where them I forgot. Learn. Yeah, man. Complete gratitude.